6 months after their first encounter, they'll do it again. Clash on the Dunes, Ruiz, Joshua 2, live on Dazn, December 7th in Saudi Arabia. Right now, we are live at Capital in New York, New York, the scene of the crime, if you will, back on June 1st when Ruiz shocked the boxing world with his knockout win over AJ. Hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the second stop on this press conference tour alongside Andy Ruiz, AJ, you're Chris Mannix. My name is Todd Grisham. We're about to get this press conference started in just a couple minutes. Chris, you just spoke to AJ. What's the most revealing thing he told you?
Oh, look, he is confident about his chances in the rematch, but he's also defiant about people that suggest he needs to make any significant changes going into this fight. Now, there's no question that Anthony Joshua was not fully prepared for what Andy Ruiz brought to the table. So in the aftermath of the fight, people suggested a lot of things to him. Among them, replacing Rob McCracken, changing training methods, doing a whole bunch of things differently. Anthony Joshua is choosing to keep things almost exactly the same. Rob McCracken stays in his corner. He's going to add some piece of the puzzle, but he is basically rolling the dice that what he has been throughout the course of his professional career is good enough to beat Andy Ruiz, and we'll see if that's the case, because I think Andy Ruiz is still going to present a very formidable foe.
A lot of people compared Andy Ruiz's win to what Buster Douglas did to Mike Tyson, and now further they're saying, hey, he could continue the legacy, if you will, of Buster Douglas by fighting again, defending his heavyweight title for the first time, and coming in out of shape. Buster Douglas got caught up in all the materialistic things of the world. We've seen the Instagram posts from Ruiz. I think he's bought a Rolls Royce, a new house. What do you make of his current state of affairs?
Yeah, he's like Brewster's Millions out there, spending all that money that he's won and is going to make in this upcoming fight. Look, it's a legitimate question. If all this time off and the benefits of what happened in that last fight, will they become a negative for Andy Ruiz? One of the biggest positives Ruiz had going into that first fight was that he was effectively coming off a 15-week training camp. He had the training camp for Alexander Dimitrenko. He had the Dimitrenko fight. He came out of it unscathed, and he went straight into the Anthony Joshua training camp. So there was no time for any distractions. There was no time for any of his conditioning to wane. He was in probably the best shape he has been in his professional boxing career. This time, maybe not so much. We've seen some early pictures of him. He certainly doesn't look like he's in peak form right now.
But he's got time.
He's got 3 months, no question. But these 3 months, he's going to have to bear down, because if he comes in without that same type of hunger that he had in that first fight, he's probably going to get knocked out.
All right, without further ado, let's send it now to the stage.
Well, what have we got here then? The biggest fight of the year, the rematch. Andy Ruiz against Anthony Joshua for the unified world heavyweight titles. Yesterday, we all experienced something quite unique. The hospitality that we received in Saudi Arabia was first class, but the event production, the logistics in Didia, which completely took my breath away. Having grown up around this sport and been involved with this sport for more than 30 years, I've realised that there is a new force in world boxing, and we have to embrace that. And on December the 7th, you will witness an event that you will never forget. Major heavyweight fights of the past, where the venues took people by surprise. The Rumble in the Jungle, the Thriller in Manila. Trust me when I say this event is of the same ilk. On June the 1st, we brought a sold-out Madison Square Gardens to their feet with these two warriors. One of the fights of the year, one of the great upsets of heavyweight boxing. Perhaps this man didn't believe it was an upset, but now the whole world is watching for the rematch, and it will be truly epic.
So Anthony knows what he's facing, and I do as well, because I took a little bit of flack as well from the loss. I got no problem with that. I'm the head coach. I'm accountable, so I believe, and I wouldn't have said, yeah, we'll do the rematch if I didn't think Anthony could get his titles back and get the win. It's going to be a big camp for us. It's going to be a tough one, and Anthony's motivated because he knows what's in front of him, and his sole mission is to get the belts back. I think what boxing's going to gain is two nice guys who are great fighters, and I think we're going to get a great fight December 7th in Saudi, and it's going to be fantastic.
We believed in ourselves, plain and simple. Styles make fights, and I believe that Andy had the style to beat Anthony Joshua. I've been following Anthony Joshua for a very long time, since 2009 at the World Championships. I became a fan of his. He's an incredible fighter. And to me, he was, pound for pound, the best heavyweight champion up until he lost to Andy, of course. But nonetheless, he's a great fighter. He's an incredible person, incredible individual. I have nothing but the utmost respect for him. But I work with Andy. This is my man. And, you know, we're going to have more time to prepare this second time around. We're going to do a better camp. You'll see a better, faster, slimmer, better shape, better everything, Andy Ruiz this second time around. And I will promise the fans, promise the media, the fans, and everyone that you will see a great fight that night.
I could say boxing, 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 and more boxing. In my short 11-year career, from the amateurs to the pros, I could say I've seen a lot. I wouldn't say I've seen it all yet, but I've definitely seen a lot. There's times that I faced defeat as an amateur in my third fight. And imagine I would have stopped then, there would be no now. I lost in the European quarterfinals. Imagine I stopped then, there would be no now. I lost in the World Championship finals. Imagine I stopped then, there will be no now. So I feel like stopping isn't in my DNA. To continue, and as long as I have breath in me, I'll keep on fighting for the passion of boxing, more so to carry the sport as an ambassador of the sport and for an ambassador of championship level fighting. I feel like that's where I belong. You know, ever since I got into boxing, I've just tried to rise to the top. Never wanted to be mediocre with it. I'm born with a fighting spirit. I know how to fight. And the blessing is that people reflect it as you lost the titles. You lost your titles. And I always say is that to lose something is to never get it back. I lost X. That means that you're never going to get it back. But I believe, and I'm certain, that I have a second chance, December 7th. We didn't have no warm-up fights. I'm not gun shy. I'm looking forward to getting back in at December 7th and reclaiming my belts. Shannon Briggs, can I get a let's go champ? Can I get a let's go champ? Can I get a let's go champ? That's what I'm talking about, let's go champ. Shannon Briggs talks about the times he was down and out, when nobody believed in him. I think everyone in this room has been through certain things where nobody believed in them. And nobody in this room would be here if they gave up. And that's where Let's Go Champ comes into my life right now.
You know, first of all, I want to thank God. You know, without him, this wouldn't have happened. My team, Al Heyman, Eddie Hearns, all my loved ones. But you know what? I'm happy to be here in New York. You know, this is where everything happened, where I became the first Mexican heavyweight champion of the world. When I made history. But I know AJ, he wants his bouts back. I know he does. I know how it feels to lose. I lost against Parker when I thought I won the fight. But he could bounce back. But my job is for him not to win, for him not to get these bouts. You know, I've been through so much. I know a lot of people have been through so much stuff, but I've been through so many roller coasters in my life, so many doubters in my life that have been telling me I was gonna do nothing just because of my appearance, the way I look. But at least I think I'm a proof where people could say, man, if he did it, I could do it. And they could, as long as you train hard, you dedicate yourself, and you believe what you want to do. So what I believe in December 7th, the same results is going to happen. I'm going to train my ass off. God's in my side, and we're going to win. Para México, vamos a ganar todo. Vamos a regresar estos cinturones para México. Como tengo la sangre de mexicanos y con todo mi equipo. Y vamos a lograr todo. Gracias a Dios, toda la gente. Gracias.
This is such a beautiful, brutal sport. And every fighter deserves so much respect. These two are great role models, great ambassadors. And this is the fight of the year. This may be the heavyweight fight of the century. This may be the heavyweight occasion of our generation. On December the 7th, in Saudi Arabia, in Diriyah, in a purpose-built arena, 16,000 people will come together, but the world will be watching an iconic moment for our sport.
Chris, they head to London, I believe, later today for the final trip of the 3-stop tour.
Yeah, they're not messing around here. Saudi Arabia one day, here in New York the next, off to London after that. Look, I'm just looking forward to seeing what we get out of both these training camps. Anthony Joshua told me that he has basically been in training camp since his last fight. Didn't take much in the way of true time off. Even when he was on vacation, he was training. He believes he's got to be in the best shape of his life for this upcoming fight. And Andy Ruiz doesn't have to be in picture-perfect shape, but his conditioning has got to be there. Is he as hungry for this rematch as he was for the first one? That's the big question I have for Andy Ruiz.
Well, that'll do it, ladies and gentlemen, from here in New York City. Anthony Joshua, Andy Ruiz, December 7th in Saudi Arabia. You can see it live and exclusively here on Dazn.